As a mental health advocate and author, I love books. Books have the capacity to inspire, educate, transform, and ultimately help readers all over the world. So if you want to publish your book or if you need help writing your story, I highly recommend Mindstir Media, rated the #1 best book publisher around the country. Mindstir Media can help you no matter where you are in the book writing or publishing process. Go to mindstirmedia.com to learn more and schedule a consultation.
Out Comes the Sun with Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. Out Comes the Sun compassionately helps you navigate mental wellness practices that you can apply to your daily life. And we tell your story. And now, Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Out Comes the Sun Radio. Hello. It's another day. It's another beautiful day. The sun is coming out. Even if the sun isn't coming out, it's out as far as we're concerned. Welcome to Out Comes the Sun Radio with my co-host, Melissa Yamaguchi. I'm Mariel Hemingway. Hello, hello.
Hello. Listen, I got some fun stuff I want to share with you today.
Yes, please do.
UCLA has started a quiz program that keeps older people's minds active.
Really?
So they're working on a program that they've been test piloting in nursing homes and asking the nursing home residents different questions. One may be, what was a famous musical concert where several groups came together in the late 1960s? What was it called? And so they found that what's happening is that the groups would get together and say, oh, I think it was something that started with the W. Like they start this community of understanding and remembering things. And they're showing that even if it takes them a long time to get the answer, it's this community connection of them working through remembering together that's allowing them to remember even faster. But it's this, UCLA's come up with this program that their students are writing for our elderly, that's helping them keep their brains sharp.
I love that. That makes me so happy. Where do I sign up? Because I don't get behind. And if I can't answer any of the questions, though I did get Woodstock right away. I actually figured out
well, you're wrong. It's Wyclef. So there. It says the jury is out on the benefits of brain games, but staying engaged and a part of your community can't hurt anybody, right? So this journalist, Steve Lopez, wrote for the the Los Angeles Times, and he's talking about this quiz, and it's everything from historical reference to math quizzes. And the beauty about this is it's an current affairs also from when they were teenagers all the way till today. So it's keeping everybody on their toes. Listen, we all play games, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, whatever. This is great.
What you love about this that seems more natural to really encouraging your brain, because I do Lumosity, and Bobby's like obsessed with Lumosity. Lumosity
Yes.
Brain training kind of thing, and he's like mastered the the math so much. I get nervous and I get scared. I think I'm losing, like the only person that loses is me. But what I love about this is that it feels more organic, like real life. Like,
Yes.
Something on your phone is great. I know that helps your brain, but somehow this feels more like real connection.
Yes.
Because real questions and real connection is a far better way to expand your brain. And you're getting that, that real physical, like community kind of interaction. And I think that's important.
And you know what happens? You can only imagine. Just imagine if you and I were in that nursing home and it came up on stage, what musical thing? And we were like, okay, sounds like, Okay, we're looking at each other, and you blurt out Woodstock, and I say, "Oh, and didn't Janis Joplin play there?" And you say, "Yeah." And I think that, and so then it starts the conversations.
Yes, it
It
does.
it's an expansion beyond the question, and that's another part of this that I'm so excited about for this group of people. Where sometimes I think they should give them to college students who don't know how to date and have them ask questions, so that it puts them in a, because there's this, they're so locked down into the phone that
Well, they
maybe they
don't
don't understand about
they
engagement.
absolutely don't know how to communicate. I mean, I
Right.
will, without giving any kind of private information, I have two daughters, and one of my daughters is having trouble in communication with her boyfriend, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
going to go into details, but there's such an inability to actually have conversation. You would think in this world of like Instagram and Instagram Live and Facebook Live, and everybody's seems like they're communicating, but actually one on one and person to person,
That's right.
skills are really lacking. It's like so bizarre that we're now in the 21st century. Here we are, and nobody really knows how to communicate with one another. I mean, I get that, we grew up in the 60s and 70s, and there was a lack of communication, but that was kind of societal, right? We didn't
Right.
talk about certain things because they were taboo, like mental health problems weren't talked about. But now it's strangely, it's like they're socially inept at communication skills. And I find that sad because it's such a beautiful, I mean, if I didn't have my conversations with you in the morning, on my walks or whatever, what a sad thing that would be. Like to not, if we just text, my God,
Oh
this
no, come on. Or if we just what if we just texted emojis? What if we just did that?
how about we would get in so much trouble because I don't know 90%
I
of what
know. I know.
those emojis
You'd be
apparently,
sending me eggplants, and I'd have to say, "Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!"
and I'd be going,
You're
why?
like, "It's healthy. Vegetables are healthy." Shut it down, Mariel.
That out last week. I'm not even going to share what it means because it just embarrassed me. How sad is that I'm embarrassed? Now I know what that means. Damn. I stick with hearts. I stick with hearts. Little
This
baby.
is so safe. Have you seen that video that circulates around the internet where there's a guy getting dental work done? And
No.
the dentist is this young, and the camera's coming from over his right shoulder. So I don't know if it's completely staged. And my kids tell me oftentimes, "Mom, that's a setup." Okay, whatever. It's cute. The dentist is trying to get the needle from her assistant to put the Novocaine into the gum of the patient. So she's pushing her hand across to try to get it, and the patient keeps going like this because he's a little dopey. So she's like shoves his hand away. I'm telling for those of you listening, the dentist is putting her hand on looks like the first half of a heart that you see a lot of the kids making and Taylor Swift making on stage, certainly. And the dental patient thinks that she's trying to create a heart, so he keeps matching her hand, and she finally has to swat his hand away so that her assistant can give her the needle. Knock him out.
Knock him out. Oh
We've
my
got a fun
God.
guest today, don't we?
What? We
We have
do
a fun guest today.
have such a fun guest because he's my one and only. Yep. We've got Bobby Williams today. I know y'all are excited because he just knows how to talk, I guess. Pretty
And
much.
talk. And he knows a lot of stuff. He knows a
does
lot of
know.
stuff.
He is one of the, and I don't just say that because he's my partner, but he is one of the most knowledgeable people about moving your body and exercise and supplements and food and connection. And actually, he really is the guy that when we talk about the 7 doctors, and maybe now we talk about 8 doctors, he really has an understanding of them at such a visceral level. Because when I met him, he was doing all those things. We weren't calling them anything, but he was walking barefoot, and he always saw the sunrise, and he would, I was like, "Where are you going?" when he would rush off at around sunset, and he was like, I'm going up to the top of the mountain to watch the sunset. Like, he was doing these things, had a breathing technique, all these things years ago when I first met him, and he'd been doing them for years before that. So I love when somebody has integrated that into their whole being. And I can honestly say I've learned more from this human being than pretty much anybody in my life.
Yep.
Aside from you, Melissa. I have learned a great deal from you. I'm just gonna say that too.
You know what? I appreciate that. I know that Bobby is a walking Wikipedia.
He's a walking
You know,
wiki.
Yeah, we don't even have encyclopedias anymore. Now we have a Bobbypedia. We have a Bobbypedia. I'm excited to hear. He's shared a lot with me. I actually will call him when I have a question about something. Hey,
Yes.
Bobby, this is going on in my life. And what I've noticed is when Bobby's passionate, as this happens with all of us expats from other states, when you're passionate about something, your accent comes out. And when Bobby's passionate, Wicker becomes Wicca. He talked to me one time about putting the Wicca furniture, and I was like, Wicca, is that scientific? Isn't that like a belief system? Like Wicca? He's like, the Wicca. You don't have Wicca? And I was like, Wicker? So I'm excited that Bobby's going to come talk to us about Wicca and movement with the body.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Yes. Stay right where you are, people. Come back, because we do have Bobby Williams in our next segment. And you're listening to Out Comes the Sun Radio. Thank you for being here. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to Out Comes the Sun. We have an amazing guest today. He's been on before, for those of you who don't know. For those of you who do know, be prepared to be excited. For those of you who don't know, our next guest is Bobby Williams, life partner of Mariel Hemingway, dear friend of Melissa and Billy Yamaguchi, Seiji Nobu Yamaguchi. The whole family just loves him. Bobby is the founder and president, CEO, and leader of the ship for Stratosphere ATC, and I want Bobby to share with us just a smidgen about that, if you don't mind, Senor. And then also, the one thing that I can share about Bobby is that Bobby is one of the most knowledgeable people that I know when it comes to physical health, movement, physical well-being. As a matter of fact, Bobby, you serve as my go-to whenever I have anything going wrong in my family. You're the first person I think of calling before I even think of an MD, because you've taught me so much about functional movement and everything. And I'm excited to find out what you're going to share with us today. Thank you for being here.
Fantastic. Thank you for the introduction and the kind words, Melissa.
Always.
What we doing? What you want to know?
Well, I would like for you to share. You have introduced me to functional movement, and you've introduced me to the concept of moving the body to feed your mental health, and I'm fascinated by that.
So a fit body cannot be bought. It has to be earned. And you just can't go on to eBay or to Facebook and if you have a lot of money and say, hey, I would like to buy a fit body. So this functional fitness or this functional movement that Melissa talked about is no different than a childlike quality, crawling on the ground, sitting down and crossing your legs, walking with your hands and feet on the ground like a bear, crawling like a salamander, just all of these little movements that you make, or big movements that you make, activates all these different sort of dormant parts of the body that are asleep, essentially. And that's what ends up happening as we get older. We stop playing, so we go dormant in different areas of the body. So that's where the body must be earned. And Mariel and I, we're really into doing it through play.
Exactly.
Do you leapfrog?
Yes, we have been known to play leapfrog and hide and seek.
A lot of wrestling, because I wrestled.
Well, you talked to me about functional medicine, and so I began doing some of the gorilla walks that you had talked to me about, and some of the crawling. And my husband came into the family room, and I was on the ground crawling. He got on the ground with me, began crawling. He said, "What have you lost?" And I said, "I haven't lost anything." He said, "Are you looking for your glasses?" Because I was crawling like a baby. And I said, "No, I'm crawling." And he said, I thought you were looking for something. I said, no, but while you're down here, stay down here with me. We were crawling. Now I want to know about the salamander crawl. Are you actually on your belly when you do that, Bobby? Could you explain that?
Yeah. Real low, just like a salamander. If you look at them, the little geckos or salamanders, their bellies are basically dragging on the ground. So you want to get as low as possible. And when you want to reach out as low as possible, but you start out higher because your hips and stuff are not used to that movement. Hips, shoulders, strength, all that stuff. You gotta sort of earn it. Again, you got to keep working towards that.
What does it do for your brain as you're doing that? Because I know what it does for a child. Crawling is so important for the connectivity of the brain for a baby. What does it do for an adult?
Well, if you think about walking barefoot, we talk about that. It strengthens your feet. You avoid all these like discomforts that the feet and the ankles get, because those lose mobility as you get older too. It's sort of like, people call it the pain of discipline, or are you going to have the pain of regret? What are you looking for? The pain of regret starts to happen if you start to lose this mobility, right? Because you don't have these childlike qualities anymore. So, from wrestling and doing all the sports and rock climbing and things that I love to do, as I started to get older, it's not automatic. You have to start doing these things. It's not like we ride our bikes to our friend's house like we were back in the 70s, right? Friend's house, walking. You know how we count our steps now? We probably did 10 or 15 miles a day just in the neighborhood.
Sure.
So,
looking for your friends because you couldn't call them.
Yeah, exactly. And that starts to go away. Yeah. The original instant message face to face that I always talk about, if you can't find a buddy, or you call you're supposed to meet your friends, or that doesn't happen, you walk over to their house and you knock on the door. You
and I talked about this the other day where we said the way you found out where the party was where the house where we had all the bikes in the front yard. And that's where everybody was. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all tied together. I talked to you, I think it was 2 days ago, because I saw Joe Rogan talking about a university out of Australia talking about how exercise and movement is 1.5 times more efficient and effective for depression than the top medication or counseling. Now, everybody's in it for real, because your body makes the pharmacology. Yeah, your body makes the pharmacology. So, it's all about the movement. Now, everybody's an individual. I'm not saying that people are depressed because of this or that in their life, whether it's something to do with their parents or they're growing up, or something that happened to them, some sort of trauma. But I think a lot of people are depressed because they don't move.
Right.
And if everybody's body makes these things, I'm saying that move.
Bobby, you brought up a point a while ago that I think is worth highlighting. You said, because I know that you wrestled all through school. You were in gymnastics. You can do all the flips and all the body movements. You've been in total control of your body as an athlete your entire life, and then into university and into adulthood. And you've even noticed some shifts and changes in your body, even though you're in extremely good shape. And this working out, since I've known you, is like an absolute daily occurrence. Absolutely, some form of movement. And even still, you find a few shifts in your body.
Absolutely. From some of the rough stuff that I've done, call it the wrestling, the football, the bull riding, right? You want to get extreme.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. I don't know how we can even call that a sport,
On
the back of some, a 1,500-pound crazy animal that can run into the side of a car and flip it over, and you're like, I'll hang on to this for 8 seconds.
And you've tied his testicles to where he's angry.
It's a suicide mission.
Yeah,
is what it is. So those impacts over the years of everything that I've done, I've gotten some benefits from them, but the downside from them is calcification in the joints, and same thing, the sort of slide and glide, I call it, of the soft tissue. That's from the impacts, things start to tighten up. So in order to get the slide and glide, I started stretching in bed, right? Everybody jumps out of bed. I bring this up. I bring it up all the time. Anybody can prop their head up on a pillow, fold the pillow in half, take some breaths, do what Mariel does, talk about to yourself how great a day it is, the people that you're grateful for, thankful for, what a great day it'll be in your brain, and slowly stretch and start to move, and take a couple of extra minutes of doing that in bed. And this starts the sort of lymph movement and the slide and glide of everything before you get out of bed, instead of jumping out of bed and there's not enough blood in your feet or your legs or in the extremities that's still pooled inside the torso, and you feel like you're walking sideways trying to get to the bathroom because you weren't ready yet. So I think there's something to that. There was actually a Harvard study where they had guys not even getting out of bed in the middle of the night to pee. They pee off the side of the bed, old school, and when there was no outhouse, right? Look at Melissa's face.
When they were bachelors, I'm assuming.
But your heart rate beats per minute drop because you're not getting up in the middle of the night. You think about that. You're not getting up. When you get up to go to the bathroom, anybody can check this. If you get up tonight to go to the bathroom, listen to how hard your heart works and starts to pound and raises. You're at like a 50 heartbeat, and all of a sudden you go to the bathroom and you're upwards of 75, 80, 90. It starts to crank because it's trying to push the blood into your legs and your extremities from moving. So anyway, they did these studies. The more time you take not getting up in the middle of the night, and the more time you take before jumping out of bed, the lower your heart rate will be. So there's something really cool to be said about that.
Well, there's a lot cool to be said about it. And the reason I asked you to kind of clarify what I asked you to about the fact that you're in incredible shape and still you're noticing some things, whether they are from past activities or whether they are just the evolution of time, even though you're in incredible shape. And the reason I bring that up is because so many of us use the excuse of, I'm not in shape, I'm too old, I'm this, it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that, something. But the truth of the matter is, it's like, I'm going to use this as an example, then I'll bring it back because I want you to talk about it. I remember being on a trip with my mom, and we were going to go to a museum. And I knew at that time that my mom needed her hip replaced. And I said, Mom, we could walk. The walk to the museum would have been beautiful. You and I could walk, and we could take a cab. And she said, well, why are you picking between the two? I said, because it's an extra long walk. I know your hip's going to hurt. She said, my hip's going to be hurting whether I'm lying in bed, on the walk, or seeing the art. I'd rather see the beauty and go to the museum. So she had this mentality of, my hip's aching anyway. Let's keep moving, because she needed a replacement. She hadn't had it yet. She was soon having it after. With a lot of us, we have an excuse to not move. And I wanted to use you as an example because you have maintained this discipline. I like what you said earlier. You're going to either suffer through the pain of
the pain of discipline, pain of regret.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you're, I think, to me, is a good example, because you may have a few aches from some past things, but you're still moving through it. You're still pushing yourself to go through it. There shouldn't be an excuse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I also love it. It's not hard work for me. This morning, okay, to give you an example, I knew that I needed the morning. Mariel's got a flat tire in her car. I had a friend total out my car 10 days ago. So the only thing we have in the garage are bicycles and a motorcycle empty with gas and no gas can. Mariel's car, the tire was $500, Melissa, and that was it without putting it on the car. But, I spent 45 minutes on the internet, and I found a used tire for $75 installed. So the car's on its way there now. I got to pick that up in a little while. And the car that I'm buying, it's an older vehicle for off-roading. It's really cool, an old Toyota 4Runner 2001. I'm told that's the last great year of that thing. Anyway, I'm picking that up. So all that is going to work out today. But I knew that I had to go to the gym this morning because that's what I wanted to do. And I trained outside at Gold's Gym. You can train outside. And I love training outside in the mornings there if I train at that gym. From there, rode the bike back, and I'm like, well, not going to miss the beach. I was like the only one in the ocean by the Venice Pier. I was the only one. There wasn't good surf today. So I was out there for a half hour before I came back. So it's like I did this natural cold plunge. The minerals are in the water. It's absolutely amazing. I got to work out. I came back in. I got in a hot shower because I was so cold. And Mariel made me breakfast. I can't sit there and say she did breakfast. It was an amazing breakfast. And so you eat healthy food. That is not work to me. Did I work? No. I went out and I had fun. I went out and played for a couple of hours.
But
Yeah.
you've tied it. You guys, the two of you do enjoy working out more than anybody I've ever met in my life. But the two of you have tied it. It's the cause and effect thing. You've tied it also to the effect of good mental health, good physical health, good emotional health, good spiritual health. When did are you ever too old to exercise, Bobby? Are you ever too old to move the body?
No way, no way, no way. I mean, they take these people that are doing the, I guess the masters of track and field. And these guys are, guys and girls are running fast and they're still doing their events. No, they're not pole vaulting or high jumping, but the running is still going on. And there's been, again, scientific studies and research where you take an 80-year-old guy who's been kind of sedentary and they grow muscle. Now, they're not going to grow the same muscle as a 20-year-old, but could you imagine he didn't grow sedentary and he kept moving? I feel like I want to be the possibility. What's going to happen? If I look like this and I am this at 60, which is what I am, and I know chronologically I'm in my 30s, and I also look a lot younger than 60. I think about my grandparents at 60, and it's not the same thing. But I spend a lot of time doing this because I love it so much. We're having a ton of fog, as you know. Mm-hmm. So what did I do the other day? Dropped Mariel off at the airport, had a couple of hours, drove up to St. Angela's Crest Forest, hiked from 5,000 feet to 7,000 feet barefoot in the sun, while the entire LA basin, everybody else was in the fog. Even a mile below where I was, it was fogged in. So I got to exercise and be in the sun with the dogs and loved every second of it. There was a small stream coming down this little corridor, and I went up for 20 minutes and I built like a little embankment on a really steep hillside, got it to fill up with water, and it was about 3 feet wide by about 3 feet deep. And I got it to be about, I would say, 1.5 feet deep of ice water. So when Foxy, Daisy, and I came back, Foxy was trying to get in there first. I had to hold her back.
Foxy and Daisy are the pets, not his mistresses. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
Daisy's.
Yeah.
In case if you're listening, I just showed our Yorkie, Daisy.
Yeah.
Who's a year old.
Yeah. So I put my head underwater and put water all over myself, and then I let Foxy and Daisy get in, because they'd stirred up mud and dirt and things that I had to make it like that. But I mean, I look for things like that outside. Mariel and I go up this, when it's all foggy here, everywhere, you can get to about 2,800 feet in the Santa Monica Mountains. Mariel and I have this 700, 800 yard driveway that's super steep that have these giant boulders along the side. I pick up the boulders and try to walk up the driveway, or we do different exercises with our hands, with rocks that fit in our hands and hold things. And we just come up with all of these like crazy things. But at the bottom of this, there's another creek running. So Mariel and I make dams so that we have cold plunge. So our cold plunge is the outdoors. When I tell people this, they all get that. They get the plunge, which is a great thing. We're going to have it in our space. We're going to be working with them. But there's nothing better than making things up. We make things up.
We like kids.
Is play, and it's so much fun. And I have to say, when I first met you, I didn't do things like that, and it was so much fun that I thought, oh well, this will probably end soon. Like we probably won't do this for a long time, just because we just met each other. That and it was every day, and it was a whole thing. But it reminded me of something. I heard this story of these people, these older people, and they did a study, and they told these people for 1 week to pretend they were 20 years younger. To pretend. So this is a mindset thing, to pretend that they were 20 years younger, and they put them in the environment of like, put pictures. Yeah. Wait. They put pictures of, their childhood, like, rock stars and the music that they listen to. Well, their telomeres grew, their muscles got better, their range of motion was more fluid, and they were doing things that they did 22 years prior. So that's how amazing is that?
So there was
it's in our brain. So
there was a Harvard study, a very similar thing, but they put they put like 6 really close friends in a cabin, and they went all out on this experiment. No outside influence whatsoever. They watched the same television shows from the 50s.
Yeah.
Black and white TV. They had the same newspapers, the same magazines, Time Magazine, Life Magazine, everything there. The way the coffee was made, everything there was from the 50s. And it's exactly what Mariel said. I mean, so
So their brains were changing. They were quicker, right?
Yeah. So the three of us are the same age. We all agree we love the music from the 70s. We're idiots when that music comes on in the car.
You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
See, there you go. And we watched.
Look how happy I am.
We watched the Bee Gees special, and
Yes.
you teared up. And a lot of the tearing up came from how you heard that at 16, 17, 15 years old when you were hearing it.
That's
and
right.
It's the thing that moves us. I look at the music today, and I don't sit there and say there's not some great music, because there is, but a lot of it is digitally made, and voices aren't real voices. It's all of this auto tuning and the richness of the 70s and albums and tape and cassettes and 8-track. I mean, all of my younger friends that are sort of into music, they love all that stuff because there's something pure about it.
Yeah.
There's something moving and exceptional. When I hear this loud banging and cars going past, I'm like, that can't be good for you. It can't be lifting you up and making you feel better.
Well, I found out yesterday, I was in Boise, and I found out from a guy who I worked with Optum Idaho in Boise, and he said that a new trend for like kids is they're getting cassette players and Walkmans like we used to have, and they're getting tapes and listening to tapes, and they're listening to they're very into vinyl because they feel the difference.
Yeah,
it's analog versus digital. The Germans did a study many years ago, digital Dolby, that said you're making a mistake. So if you take your finger and say this is a cell, and you have one of Mariel's favorites from the 70s, Carole King Tapestry album, and you listen to that, the cells open and close perfectly, hearing that and loving the sound. You put it in digital Dolby, the cells distort. It doesn't.
Are you kidding?
No, it's sort of like, how about your animals? How many animals do you know that really pay attention to the phone when it's Mariel on the other end? She's saying Daisy really doesn't pay attention to the digital. Could you imagine their ears and the distortion that they hear? Because so when you put things on speakerphone and things like that, it's crazy. Also, before when I was talking,
it's so weird.
When I was talking before about the sun, when I come back from being in the sun for 4 to 6 hours up in the mountains, people ask me down here when it's foggy where I'm from. How much of it's energy? How much is it my face is all lit up and tan and whatever? My spirit and how I feel and how it raises me up. This blue screen stuff, it's fantastic. You learn, you get to see things, all this stuff. I get Instagram. I mean, it's doing many great things, but there's crazy things about it that people need to know. My nephew was looking at his screen all night long on and off, saying he was trying to get in touch with his friends who were 3 hours ahead in New York. From 11 to 4 a.m., if you get any kind of blue screen time, what's
So funny, my tip is about light.
From 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.? Does it do something different?
Yeah, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. It activates, I wrote this down, a specific circuit called the habendula. And this lowers dopamine and creates a sense of disappointment.
Wow.
How about
Wait a minute, are you saying 11 p.m. to 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
That's that nighttime window.
That blue light during that time.
I got it. I got you.
It's actually pro-depressive.
Yes.
And you don't have to look at it long. A couple of seconds is enough to get you. So people who are leaving their phones on at night and they're like, I just have to check. I just have to look. It's a pro-depressive. How insane is that? Everybody needs to take control of how they look at social media, look at their phones, and use their stuff. I've been saying to you guys, sort of threatening for years, I don't take my phones on hike. I'm doing everything I can to not use it in the car. And I'm going to get to the point where I have somebody at the other end of the phone when you call me, a receptionist. I have that much money. I'm going to have a receptionist answer the phone. And if it's not an emergency, she'll give me the message at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I think,
want to get away.
and this is going to be your voicemail. Because you're going to have carrier pigeons.
What am I gonna have?
Carrier pigeons.
Wow, are you going to supply these carrier pigeons?
I think I might. I've watched a whole segment on Mike Tyson and Gus D'Amato and how he had carrier pigeons and Mike was working with them. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if Bobby might be interested in this.
This
And
is
when people are asking,
yeah, this is obviously pre-Tiger. Michael sleeping with the Tigers. This is pre-Tiger. The pigeons and the Tigers would get along very well.
I think when you come down from the mountains, people are asking you where you're from because you have a look. I'm not blowing hot air up your backside. The truth of the matter is you have a youthful energy about you. You are very excited about things and very passionate about things. And there's in so much of what we've done in kind of we talked about this with one of our previous guests about rote memorization and putting our kids, and John Sani talked about, we go through the motions so much that we forget who we are. And that's one thing I think you've done well, Bobby. I like that you come on and teach us and our audience, and you always teach my family how to remember who we are, how to maintain.
It's a really great saying, sort of religious. All your kids, your children are like library books that you get to borrow for 12 years to remember who you actually are, not who you think you are or who society says you are. None of us are adults. I look at everybody and we're all 8 years old going outside to play. Everybody wants to be 8 years old, go outside to play. It has nothing. Yes, you have responsibilities as you get older. You got a house, kids, mortgage, taxes, a job, all these things, but that doesn't mean stop. The whole movement thing that we started with before, when you're done with high school, you're supposed to sit down and stop moving. When you're done with college, if you're an athlete, you're supposed to sit down, stop moving. When you're done as a professional athlete in your 30s, sit down, stop moving. We're pushing that, right? Tom Brady and these people going into their 40s, everybody going a little bit further. But this whole thing about it's time to stop. It's never time to stop.
Yeah.
When you talk about the old people,
Yeah.
Here's a big saying, maybe repetitive. Never, ever, ever let the old people move in your house. Your body and your mind and your spirit are your home. If you let the old people move in there, they're really hard to kick out, almost impossible. So if you keep that spirit of youth of who you are, the old people will never come in. Old people are rattled by the young people, right? Oh, they move too much. Mariel and I were sitting at a dinner table in Ketchum Sun Valley with a family, and there was a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. And the 6-year-old was making airplanes out of paper napkins, and I was helping her do this. And then she's throwing it, and it's going over to by other tables. And I was watching their parents. They had a little head movement. They had some hand movement for the fork and glasses, and that's about it. Kids up, down, up, down, up, down, under the table, over there, talking to this guy, doing that, doing that, doing that. So when we started the conversation about movement, when you mimic these kids, you're like, oh, this is why they don't have stiff necks and they can turn their heads. They're always moving. They did a study back in I want to say it's back in the 30s, maybe the 20s with Jim Thorpe. They put him with a hyperactive child, a toddler of 2+, let's say. And he was in the best shape of his life, Olympics and baseball and football and boxing, all the things he did. By the way, he's my #1 guy, best athlete ever. When you look him up, it's mind-bending what he did. I think he lasted a little over 90 minutes in a room with a hyperactive toddler. He had to fall down, get up, grab things, look at things, mimic, say the same things. The kid was moving 1,000 times faster or something than what an adult would move. The hand movement, the this, the fall down, the fall down, the fall down, to get up, the fall down. Grab this. Isn't that insane?
It's so
I remember being a kid moving like that, but I don't even. You told me the other day that you were on the roof playing with your dogs, and you were moving your body and down low, and you said it felt so good on your lower back and your hips, and so I was talking to my husband about it on the way home. I said, "You think you can do that move?" And he says, "Not unless you're prepared to carry me up the stairs to bed. I don't think I could do that." So we start kind of slowly moving around. It incorporated into the crawling thing. It's a fun evening at the Yamaguchi household when everyone's on the floor. We're going to incorporate the salamander soon. It's going to be great.
Well, these are all the secrets to wellness and a great life. And if you think about it, it's like even chairs. They're not really kind to your lower back and your body. What's the timing there? In 20 minutes, your digestion shuts down 100%. So no longer working, gastrointestinal is
When
shut
you're
down
sitting in the
from
chair.
sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And the energy to your legs, 80%. So we've all been sitting for 30 minutes. I think we stand for a second, reboot, and sit back down.
Yep.
My
Well,
stuff.
and like in a plane, and I'm gonna wrap us all up because you could talk for days, and that's why we have you.
I only
have
get
you
that.
once
I
a
only
month.
get the half-hour show.
That's all we have.
Our interview.
I need an hour. It's like the whole thing's got to change. You need an hour and a half.
We need to
a
reformulate this thing.
90-minute show. The show that never ends.
You just keep coming back once a month. It's great for us. But I can't remember. I can't remember what we were saying. But anyway,
Sitting up, standing down.
oh, yeah.
Energy.
When I'm on a plane, and Bobby got me started on this.
Oh,
Whenever
it's so crazy.
we go into the bathroom, and I'll come back and sit down. And he goes, "How many did you do?" And I'll go in the bathroom and do 20 squats or 30 squats. You know, and you come and you sit back down just because you want to get energy moving, and it changes. You know, you don't get that
Jet lag.
bloated feeling.
Well, that you probably don't need to wear compression socks because your
One
legs are
tension in
big.
the legs. You can do dips too. You grab the handrail and the sink, and they're about the right height, but you use your feet to guide, and you use your upper body as well. I mean, it's so easy to do. I mean, you know,
It's great
Mariel,
stuff.
you
I
get up
can stop you.
twice.
I
You
can
get up
stop you.
twice.
I can stop you.
Bobby, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you next month. We'll have you on. Our audience. This has only been a taste and a treat. He's got much more to come.
Much more to come. We love you.
Let's all
We
grow
do.
younger together.
Absolutely.
Quality-
Benjamin Button.
Don't leave, everybody, because next, Melissa Yamaguchi, my girl, my co-host, has an energy tip for you. So stay tuned. You're listening to Out Comes the Sun Radio. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Out Comes the Sun with Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. Now, Melissa, am going to give you a feng shui tip, and I want to talk to you about the toide, the water closet, the ladies' room, the men's room, the family room, the restroom, the bathroom. In feng shui, the bathroom is obviously an important part of your health. It is vital that you keep the lid down. If you put thought into this, everything that goes into that toilet is something that no longer serves your body. Your body has extracted all the minerals, all the vitamins, whatever it is, your body's purging it because it no longer needs it. And it is a vessel to everything that's toxic. So you keep the lid down. It's a portal. You keep that lid down. In feng shui, that's actually the best practice. The other thing that's important to know about the restroom is the cleanliness of it. I mean, it's good health sense, right? That we keep our restrooms clean. But in feng shui, because that restroom is such a close tie to your health, there's certain things you need to really be cognizant of. Your toothbrush is one of them. If your bathroom layout is such that your counter, your toilet, and then your bath shower are all in line with one another, and it's one of the smaller bathrooms, please do not keep your toothbrush in the bathroom. Your toothbrush needs to be kept in a basket in your bedroom that you can carry with you when you go to the bathroom. In the bathroom, sorry folks, things move. The air carries things. And if you've used the restroom, used the toilet, then your air has something being carried around in it, and you don't want the toothbrush in there. Your toothbrush is a vital part of your health. It's a vital part of keeping your mouth clean. Your oral hygiene is a huge component, and I'm sure Bobby Williams knows far more than I about that, and so maybe we'll get him on to talk about that again one day. But the toothbrush, if it's in an open bathroom and the toilet is near where the counter is, keep your toothbrush in another room, not in your bathroom. The other thing is the toilet, the shower, the sink, the bathtub, the floor must really be kept in pristine condition. If you say, I am too tired, I can't stay on top of my laundry right now, then I'm going to ask you, there are 3 things that I will ask you in feng shui that you force yourself to do. You make sure that your bathroom is clean. You make sure that your kitchen is clean. You make sure that your sheets are washed on your bed. These are the areas in feng shui which support and carry you. So keep that bathroom clean, keep the toothbrush in a different room. And as far as odors, in Feng Shui, there were a lot of natural things were brought in. Eucalyptus hanging from your shower. There a lot of or lavender brought in, some kind of a not dried flower potpourri, but some kind of a fresh scent. The problem with a lot of the scents that we have out there is that they numb your olfactory glands so that you think, oh, I don't smell anything. I just now smell cinnamon pumpkin or whatever the smell is. The odor is still there. You have numbed, paralyzed your olfactory gland, so you're not able to smell it, but it's still there. So that's not healthy for you. So what we do is, if you have a window, obviously try to leave it open. Bring in fresh, organic, clean scents to keep the odors at bay, but also give yourself a break. The restroom is where your body's getting rid of things it doesn't need. But keep it clean, keep the toothbrush out, natural fragrances in, keep the body healthy. Speaking of health, stay tuned, ladies and gents, because upcoming next is Mariel Hemingway offering you tips on health and balance. You're listening to Out Comes the Sun. Come back.
Welcome back, everyone. Wow, that was I'm like, oh, I got to move my toothbrush. Man, I was like, can I put hot water on it? Like super hot water? No. Okay. All right. Answered that question. Okay. Here I am, Mariel Hemingway, Out Comes the Sun Radio, and I'm going to give my health tip. And I'm going to talk about light today. I'm going to talk about, we've talked about, getting morning light, getting sunlight at the beginning of the day. It helps to regulate your circadian rhythm. And what that means is it helps you to have a better going to sleep time, and your days become better regulated to the ways that the earth or the ways the earth is moving. But light, like on your computer. So we are all on our computers. We're here on our computers today, looking at our Zoom, and we've got the light bright because it's day, and that's okay during the day. You can have blue light during the day, but as evening starts to come around, right around 5, 6 o'clock, really about 6 o'clock, you want to get a blue light filter for your phone and for your computer. There are lots of, all you have to do is go into your app store and put it, type in blue light filter. And there are all kinds of options, and some of them cost money, some of them are free. I have gotten one for years. I don't even know what it's called, but it's fine. And what it does, it kind of yellows that blue light. So if you are looking at a Netflix show or something in your bed late at night, which you probably shouldn't be doing in your bedroom, but if you are, at least you're not getting that blue light, which actually is telling your body that it's still daytime. Right? That blue bright light is the reason why it's bad, is that it's actually activating your daytime response to everything. So it's keeping you awake. People have trouble sleeping. There's so many issues with sleep nowadays, and people aren't turning their technology off, or at least changing the light on it. So my tip for you today is, go into your settings or go into your app store and find a blue light filter for your computer, for your laptop, or for any kind of big screen. And then also do it for your phone. There's a way in your settings that you can go into settings and look at screen or visibility or something. There's something in there, and you can probably Google it, but just do things that enable your body to adjust to this highly technical world that we live in. But, we need to adjust to those systems. And I also suggest that really towards bedtime, that you turn your phone off, like around 8, 9 o'clock. Try to turn your phone off, or at least put it on airplane mode, so that you're not, unless there's something that you have to stay on top of. And I know Melissa, keeps her phone on when her kids are away in Europe or they're at college, or, and I've got a granddaughter now, but I really still, my family knows that 8:30, my phone goes off. Melissa, just for those of you just listening,
I'm listening to you. I am so into this tip.
just put on red tinted glasses. They're awesome. You look amazing. You definitely look like you could be part of the 60s John
Mod Squad.
era. Yeah, or Mod Squad. There's something to that. Damn, girl, you go.
This is the Blue Docs. This is the Blue Docs. It's a company called Blue Docs, DOX, and they have these glasses. And I got them for everyone in my family. We wear them at night. If you're gonna, my son has to be on the computer at night, and my daughter likes to look at something. I put these on. We do. We wear them. I wear mine in the daytime. I wear mine to the grocery store. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, this is weird. That was awesome. Those are great. That's great. See, another option to help you have good light in your life. And light is important, and the kind of light that you get is incredibly important. And also, at night, start to turn those lights that are in your house kind of down. If you need to have light on, turn it to the lowest level, right? You don't need your bright kitchen lights bright as day in your kitchen. Start to turn the lights down. I got a light in my bathroom that's out of control, and there's another light, thank goodness, that I can turn on and not turn that bright light on. And you definitely, and if you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I know I'm going a little long here, please don't turn the light on. Like, get a little, like a night light in your bathroom, but you don't want to turn that, you don't want to activate your brain so that it thinks it's day, so you can go right back to sleep. Anyway, that's my tip of the day. What an amazing show.
What a great show.
I have such an amazing life partner, and I have such an amazing best friend. So, wow, I couldn't be luckier.
Oh, we're all lucky. We're lucky for knowing you, because you do bring the sun out. And what a great show. I always feel so much smarter by the time we've gotten off the show.
I know. It's so good. Right? All righty, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on Out Comes the Sun Radio. We love having you here every single day that you tune into us. We're grateful. We love you. Come back. This is Mariel Hemingway.
Mariel, here, can you put your hand? No, let me see.
Right.
Like, how can I do it?
We tried to make a heart. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Out Comes the Sun has been a production of Evolve Entertainment. Hosts Mariel Hemingway and Melissa Yamaguchi. Executive producer Jeremiah Higgins. And sound engineer and producer Richard Dr. D. Dugan. Thank you for listening.